some money saved to put towards that if we needed legal advice or whatever. And the roads were better taken care of as a separate account, and that people could contribute to that according to what the need was. So, is that sure enough?
Yep.
Is that quick enough?
So anyway, so that, yeah, so the larger account is for, I guess if we want to decide to do something about the gorge, as, you know, kind of like a group, I don't know what.
Yeah, it's a war chest, whatever.
Yeah, it's a war chest. And at some point, I think there should be some kind of discussion amongst us as to, you know, getting together, whether we all want to chip in for, you know, Glennia said that there are 3 separate groups. There's the big group, the people that are on flat ground that have a lot of gorse, and people on flat ground that don't have gorse, or very little. So there's, you know, kind of the 3 groups, and I don't know if we form separate committees or, you know, any of that kind of stuff, but
Subcommittees or whatever.
yeah, for dealing with. But I suppose an interesting takeaway from presentation is the fact is that they look at it as not being covered by the ordinance and or, you know, by the county. And the county is apparently going to, you know, thereafter getting the donut as part of the county blending it into the city's ordinance and enforcement. But that,
it'll come. Yeah, it'll come.
yeah, but I mean, so at least for right now, we have, you know, what I would say no legal obligation. We're not covered by the ordinance.
Not yet.
So, not yet. But, you know, at least at this point in time, we have no financial impact. Because it's the, you know, the thing that concerned me the most is that by applying the ordinance, we took a hit in terms of our property value. But maybe that's going to be there anyway. I don't know.
One of the reasons that we came down from Seattle to join in with this whole thing is that we could walk away with the thought that as an organization, there would be a possibility of gathering our resource, our financial resource, to hire folks to do the work that is necessary to be done. And as a common voice, perhaps the pricing that we'd have to face would be less.
Well, I think that, you know, I think very definitely that we as an organization should do that. You know, I mean, there's a multiplicity of different issues that we're going to have to face, you know, kind of, well, the people with that have severe slopes and how that's going to be removed, and the sourcing of plants. You know, I mean, Susanna's done a little bit of research on plants, and it's, you know, it's no slam dunk. You know, about, you know, I mean, they say, well, okay, we'll plant with native grass. Well, I like Ghanita's response, well, native grass is weeds. And from Susanna's little bit of research is that the reason they brought European grass or American grass, which actually came from the East Coast, or gorse, is because there was no native grass to hold the sand dunes. And so anything you're going to put there is essentially going to be non-native. And it's going to hold, unless you use flour or some other one.
That sounds like it's a lower priority than gorse.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine with putting in like the American grass and perhaps the European grass, but then the question remains, you know, particularly for us on the slope, how long is that going to take hold, and you know, what's it going to take? And we've talked to a couple contractors and they say, well, you'll have to water it, and I'm thinking, wait, it's a slope, it's a slope. You know, how does this work? You know, how dense do the plants have to be? Is it a good idea for me to be pouring water down there?
I said to irrigate the first year.
First
People
year?
I talked to get it established.
But that's very different from my experience trying to garden on the flat here. I can tell you, even with the Escalonia, which loves it here, it's taken me, a good 3 years of watering for things to take hold. But that's good information. So yeah, I think that, yeah.
Well,
I don't know. We don't know too much.
Well, I think one thing is we don't really know the cost yet, and I think it's important that the three different groups, because within Sunset City, there's the bluff group that has to deal with steep slopes, as you mentioned, then there's the group that has flat land without gorse, and another group that has flat land with gorse. So what we could do, but we don't have to do it immediately, we could say, like, the bluff group, we could get those people could talk to the Gorse Action Group about those contractors that they think would be the best choice for this area, and just get some quotes and try to get an idea of what kind of money are we talking about, what kind of time, and so we're not having abstract conversations about it. So we're not going to have any legal obligations, and nothing's going to nobody's going to show up at our door saying pay now or we'll take you to jail. That's not going to happen for a couple of years. So I think that would be a next step, is to have a group of people and look at those economies of scale. If you want to start with a bluff group and say, okay, here's your approved list of contractors, which ones are the best for our area, let's get them over here. And I think one of the things that Carrie mentioned is that the contractors are new at this, and they don't know how to price this work yet. And also the techniques are new. So one of the things that we would flesh out is, contractors that might later be shown to be gouging because they just haven't figured out really what the labor cost is, and others that might be going in the opposite direction. So I think there's, we just got to start. And
absolutely. Well, and the other part, the thing that's kind of a concern to me is that we've struggled getting a quality entity to come and take care of our yard.
Yes.
Mowing, trimming, watering, those essentials. And and so now we're gonna take a hybrid of what we have here, and we're gonna put them, responsible for getting rid of the gorse on the slope and planting and everything. So I think it's gonna take some flushing out of these different entities.
But it's a profitable business, and it should be. So there should be contractors that are going to be able to make money and be profitable in other businesses. And I know Liza Elliott, who's not here today, but many of you know Liza, the landscape gardener. She's doing a lot of training, so they will have to be vetted and trained by...
And with insurance.
Yeah, one of the things they're trying to do is get some grant money to have a cleaning station so that all the equipment that's used to work on gorse on people's property is properly cleaned, so you're not spreading gorse just because the contractor doesn't really know how to clean the blades of the equipment.
Yeah, it was pretty funny. We had one come and cut down some of our gorse and hide it to the dump. And he was stopped by the abandoned police and almost given a ticket because he was hauling gorse, and it was mostly covered, but not to the point of that the police officers wanted.
They
They said next time
they could see what was under the top.
next time that we'll get cite your ticket. So I mean, just hauling the stupid stuff away.
He doesn't want to do it anymore. So there are a lot of problems. We should go on.
Yeah, so anyway.
So roads, you covered, and Vicky's told us where she needs, And any other road complaints at the moment, more than usual,
Actually, generally speaking, the roads haven't been too bad, but was really disappointed with the level of gravel that they put.
So then it's other issues, other neighborhood issues.
I don't know what I do. I know I'll put it down. So any other issues, neighborhood issues?
Yes, I would love to see someone, and thank you, Steve. He very recently fixed our Sunset City sign.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, that has really bothered me. Can't there be someone to put quickcrete, dig a hole and keep it permanent upright? Steve finally staked it, right? Didn't you beat some stakes down in there so it's upright again? but, with storms, because there's no concrete in it.
Yeah.
But I think it makes the neighborhood look much nicer if that sign is upright
I agree.
and straight. And I have another request, is that, who do we, I see the names of committee and the election of, the officers, but I would love to have emails or phone numbers of those people
Yes,
to contact throughout the year.
Well,
Yes, we could put it
Instead
in the letter.
Waiting to
would,
the meeting.
yeah,
Yeah,
we
Well,
have
actually-
a subset of emails, and that when I send out notices, you have, I think I actually sent a blank copy, and I don't think that, I don't think everybody is able to see that.
Vicki wants ours, and we could certainly put the officers in the letter you're
Yeah.
gonna send out, Paul.
Well, I have Earl's, and I don't want to keep bothering you now that you're treasurer, and secretary. But I think instead of waiting to our yearly meeting to bring up issues, it would be nice maybe to hear them throughout the year and get them
Yes.
fixed throughout the year,
Yeah.
instead of
Yeah,
piling
it's a
all
good
this
idea.
on once a
It's a
year.
good idea, we can do that, but in general, it would be great if we had everybody's email. For example,
Yes.
Liza and I were trading emails about today's presentation, and she sent me her kind of opinion piece, and it was mid this last week, and she wanted me to distribute it, and I think she's quite irritated that I didn't. Well, it's a day's job. We stuffed 155 envelopes to send the written part out, because we don't have very many emails, and frankly, we didn't have a whole day to put into just sending out Liza's letter. We will certainly send it with the letter that talks about this meeting, but,
And
it would be, I think what she was assuming is that we had a terrific block where we could, for free, fairly fast, just send us a
That's,
letter. Do it.
so every year when I get ready to send out the letters, I go through the county assessor's records, and I look at everybody's property and endeavor to find out who it is that owns it and their address. And the first thing that's amazing is the level of turnover in the area, and I think it's actually increased as the economy has got better and people that have owned property for a long period of time are looking to sell. The second thing is I'm amazed at how many return letters I get off of the county assessor's addresses. So there is a pile, the pile is upstairs, and we sent out 155 letters, and I think I got 10% back.
We got 13 back, but that doesn't count Stuart and Robin, because we spotted the fact it was their California address. We knew it was no good, and so we just
We know that they
didn't put a stamp
moved
on
out
it.
of stuff.
And I just looked at the date of the meeting and ignored the rest.
Yeah, so anyway, well,
I need to read it.
so I think, so are we to the point of
So,
doing officers?
yeah, we're
Any
actually
other
to
old-
the end.
Any other new or old business that people want to bring up? Yes?
I don't know how we could do this, but does anyone think it would be beneficial to have a list of everyone who's a member and their phone number and address? And it would just be volunteer.
Or
that you
email.
do this. So what if I see somebody that I don't think belongs at a certain house, but I don't know I don't know how to get in touch with these people and
Yeah.
say, hey, somebody's
I-
trying to,
I think that's a good.
I think that would be a very good idea. You
our old
know,
association that
Well,
people want to
because-
do that.
because we have a fair number of rentals here. And so it's hard to really keep track of who should be here and who is not. And what, 5 years ago? Susanna? 5 years ago,
No,
6 years
before
ago?
we did the addition, so.
So, okay, so 6 years ago, we had during December and January, we had a rash of break-ins where a group from California was up and working in the area and broke into a bunch of, particularly the rentals, and were, stealing TVs and kind of easy to fence stuff. So, there's going to be times where we talked about seriously at that point of putting some type of video camera in the area in recording that kind of stuff, but it quieted down, and the Anger House was hit right here, and a couple of houses, you know, in the rentals off of there, so I
It's a
mean,
good
yeah, I mean,
idea.
that's
But we should ask, we'll ask for volunteers. Your letter's getting more complicated.
I know, well, that's so fine. So the last thing is that we really ask for other people to become involved and be officers or those. Is that Suzanne and I have been secretary treasurer for, I don't know, 5 years, something like that. And we'd like to be able to turn this over to somebody else to be able to take the reins there. A little bit younger blood and that have an interest in the community. And I don't know what Don's interest
Well,
is.
Don, I know that Suzanne, Don's wife, said he'd do it for 1 more year. So, you know, of course, we said that last year. But truly, we need more people who want to be involved. We'll do the officers first, then we'll do the advisory committee. Glenita and Cynthia are the advisory committee at this point, and we really need them. But, you know, you just look at what we're coming up with course, and that's a committee where we ask for people with kind of expertise who, you know, just might want to be in the conversation. And, you know, I mean, right now, we could definitely use, we lost our 2 lawyers who were on that, so we could use that. We could use somebody who knows something about plants, about, you know, or my thing, engineering structure, particularly the dunes and the bluffs. And I mean, you know, it's not, basically, none of us do a lot of work. Earl does because of the finances and because he puts together the list of people. That's time consuming, but basically this is not a big demand, but we really need other people to be interested in it. So, that said, you should get first to the election of officers for the next year.
Yeah.
Which,
So you want to do?
well, you know, the proposed slate is Don Broyles as president. I would say about Don that he really has a lot of contacts. He knows people. That's why he's the gravel roads guy, and he has a lot of history. So I think it's to our benefit at this point if we keep him on. Patricia Vale is vice president. Yes, I'm all in favor of this.
And she agreed to do this again next year.
And
they kept their word. But I'm going to be moving into my house by the end of October, I was told, so I will be willing to do more things.
Excellent, excellent. And then Earl and myself as secretary and treasurer. So is there any discussion? Do we have a motion?
We have a motion? No motion?
So moved.
Okay. And a second?
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see you second, did you? Okay.
So all in favor?
Aye.
And opposed?
And then we
we have a motion for the advisory group.
well, do we have anybody, is there anybody in the room who feels they could offer an expertise, who'd be willing to serve on the advisory committee with Glenita and Cynthia, and maybe even has an interest possibly of learning more and taking an office, but anybody would volunteer your expertise, would probably take it, please. We really need more people.
I'll do it.
You'll do it? Okay, Doug will do it. So that means that we now have a proposed slate of Glenita, Cynthia, and Doug. Discussion?
We have a
Motion?
motion?
Second.
Okay. And a second?
Patricia?
Can I second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, do we have anything else, or
Anything else, or
we gotta call for adjournment?
do we have a motion for adjournment?
Yes.
So moved.
Okay, Mike. Second? Nobody wants to go home.